Wizards and Rockets in town.
Now is definitely the time, and he's been saying that all year, that they're going to go on a run. And you're right. I don't want to say it's now or never, but kind of. I mean, with the schedule that they have currently, and there's all kinds of scenarios, right? If San Antonio loses and the Warriors win tonight, they could slide into ninth. I mean, there's so many different scenarios here.
Now the Wizards are 18-32. They come to town after beating the Magic. Are these next two games with the Wizards and Rockets, are they must-win games for the Golden State Warriors before Monday night's showdown against the Denver Nuggets?
I think they are must-win games. I mean, it's a critical time of the season if they want to make the playoffs.
There's no doubt about that. The Warriors at 24-27. They got to make a run here. Steph Curry coming off a 41-point bonanza against the Bucks, and he's also chasing Will Chamberlain. We'll discuss coming up here on Warriors Pre-Game Live, presented by Comcast Business. There's no doubt. He wants in on that playoff berth in the play-in tournament. We'll get to that a little bit later. But let's give a little credit courtesy of our good friends at Provident Credit Union, and it's Russell Westbrook. Look, he's an enemy of the Golden State Warriors, no doubt about it. But he has a franchise record, 20 triple-doubles in just 43 games with the Washington Wizards. He's averaging 21, 10.5, and 10.5 points per game. Gareth Burke sat down with Wizards sideline reporter Megan McPeak on Russell Westbrook's season.
There's somebody else the Warriors have to contend with, Russell Westbrook. I saw he's had triple-doubles in 5 out of his last 6 games. What can the Warriors do defensively? What are the keys to making Russ more uncomfortable?
I think it's similar to what opposing teams have to do with Stephen Curry when they face the Warriors, and you're not going to stop him. Like, let's be honest here, Gareth. You're not going to stop Steph Curry. You're not going to stop Russell Westbrook, and you're not going to stop Bradley Beal unless they're not playing. That's really and truly the only way you can stop them on the floor, is for them to physically not be playing in the game. So all you can really do is just contain them, and that's, I think, one of the most difficult challenges that opposing coaches and whoever has the scout that night for the coaching staff with regards to the defensive makeup and execution that they're going to try and attempt to do when it comes to containing Russell Westbrook. Russ is one of the best at that position that the game has seen. Like, quite frankly, like easily one of the best point guards this game has seen, just with his speed and his athleticism. And this is also on top of the injuries that he's had to deal with. So, trying to contain him is I'm glad it's just not my job. Like, I'm glad I'm not a scout and have to figure out how to contain Russell Westbrook. But it's something that every team has to figure out, and it's not easy to do because you stop him for attacking the paint, and he can knock down the outside shot. You defend him for that, he can attack the paint. So he's really one of the most difficult players to have to defend.
Thanks to Gareth Burke there. As you see Russell Westbrook warming up, that was powered by Cisco WebEx. And Russell Westbrook, Jennifer, is having a spectacular season. We talked about the triple-doubles just this season with 20. He's 15 behind Oscar Robertson for the most triple-doubles all time. He has 166, the Big O with 181. And like he did in Oklahoma City and like he did in Houston, he's still amassing monster numbers.
He's superhuman. I mean, he really is. I mean, with his athleticism and his skill and his ability, it's incredible. And to have that many triple-doubles just blows my mind.
What blows my mind is that the Wizards' record is not better. When you look at the talent on the floor led by Russell Westbrook, and his three-point percentage is actually up. It's 32% this year. He's been shooting around 29, 28% the last couple seasons. But with Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook, you would think the Wizards would have more than 18 wins.
Well, I agree. And I think, again, we talked about this game tonight as being winnable. I don't know that I look at this one the same because of the talent that they have, and with Bradley Beal being back, with Westbrook the way that he's playing. And you're right, their record does not show their talent.
One of the worst defensive teams in the NBA, the Washington Wizards. But like you said, Jennifer, on our pre-show call today, Russell Westbrook wants this one. When he sees Draymond Green and Steph Curry, he ratchets it up another level here as we look at our news alert. And the Warriors making some news, Jennifer. They signed the son of the glove, Gary Payton II, and like father, like son, Gary Payton II won the DPOY in the G League. He won the DPOY at Oregon State for Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year, and he continues to try to play and try to find his way in the NBA. 28 years old, and Steve Kerr did mention that Gary Payton II will be thrown into the waters. We could expect to see him over the next 10 days.
Well, and I hope we do. And I think he's that infusion of defensive energy that they really need. You know, the team has talked individually, the players have, Steve has, Coach Kerr, about the inconsistencies of effort and focus. And I think he's going to bring both of those things. I mean, I guess it's a genetic thing, right? Being a great defender.
No doubt. I wonder if we'll see the glove Gary Payton in the building today, talking trash from the lower level. Hey, Gary, GP too. Go check Westbrook. He can't defend him, but you saw a little bit of him at the Pac-12 when he was at Oregon State. I'm a little surprised that it's taken him this long to at least get a 10-day or get the call up to the NBA.
Well, I think it takes a special team for a player like Gary, because it's defense is his thing, and so he needs to really fit a role. And in this day and age with the NBA, you've got to be able to do it all. So I think a specialty player is a little bit tougher, but I do think he's a great fit here with the Warriors.
And with Nico Mannion struggling defensively, Gary Payton II can expect to see some minutes here as we continue to roll along here on Warriors Pregame Live. And you see the Glove Junior. Is that cool to call him? The Glove Junior? He's rocking the headband there. All right, GP II getting some shots up as the Warriors get ready for the Wizards. And we'll touch on something Draymond Green said on the other side right here on Warriors Pregame Live.
Coach of all time. And so for her to get that national championship again after, you know, kind of a long period without one, even though she's had so many Final Fours and so much success over the years, I was just excited for her. I want to ask her tomorrow what the last 6 seconds were like for her.
What about the last 6 seconds of both games?
All right.
The South Carolina game and the Arizona game.
True. Let's not forget the South Carolina game either. I mean, as a coach, those 6 seconds or those few seconds at the end of the game can seem like an eternity when you're waiting and you don't have any control really at that point.
And we got to get Tara to smile tomorrow, right, Jennifer?
Oh, we will. Don't worry.
I didn't see her smile.
Well, don't worry. I've got something up my sleeve.
All
Tara,
right.
if you're watching, you're going to smile tomorrow, okay?
We're going to smile. We cannot wait for that. Let's go over and look at Draymond Green here. Draymond Green fouled out Tuesday night against the Milwaukee Bucks. He'll be looking for a bounce back. And look, last year on Christmas Day, he defended Russell Westbrook, played him at a high level. But we're going to play the soundbite from Draymond Green as he's responding to Megan Rapinoe after she called out Draymond Green for some comments a couple weeks ago about complaints from the Women's Basketball League, WNBA, I should say. Here's Draymond Green.
You know, I think what I've said has been extremely misconstrued because I am on their side. You know, what I'm saying here is actually I'm not even going to get into what I'm saying. I am going to get into what I'm saying. You know, what I am saying here is here's what I think can work. And if you go about X, Y, and Z this way, I think this can work. And so let's try it, because that in no way is that saying the women haven't tried X, Y, or Z. They've probably tried what I said they've tried. But we live in a day and age of, you know, everything is driven by the media, by social media. You know, you can pull up anything in 2 seconds and figure out what was said, who said what. But all of those things aren't always reported, you know, so the steps that they could be taking behind closed doors aren't always reported. But what is always reported is such and such said they don't make enough money, such and such said they don't make as much money as men. That is always what's reported. And so what my point is, let's make sure we're driving what is reported. Let's make sure we're driving what is heard. And let's make sure we are asking for whatever it is that can help change what everyone wants to change.
Of course, that was Draymond Green after shoot-around Thursday, and he'll play tonight, of course, against the Washington Wizards. But, Jennifer, I got to ask you, I'm going to defer to you here. Did you agree with Draymond Green's original statements, and did you agree with Megan Rapinoe's clapback at Draymond Green?
So I don't know if they know each other or not, but, you know, I've watched Draymond for years. I've been around the Warriors, and I just didn't interpret it the same way. He has 2 daughters. I'm glad he was able to sort of clarify his statements and that he didn't mean anything offensive by what he said.
No doubt about it. And look, he wants women players to get what's right to them. No doubt about it. And what happened in the NCAA, I'm glad people like Steph Curry spoke out via social media, because the lack of the weight room or the meals, it was just not right.
No, it wasn't right. And that's the power of social media, right? That went viral. And, you know, I think Draymond made a good point of whatever the media is reporting on is what is the perception. So the fact that they can cover something that is that obvious, they had to do it because of social media. So controlling the messaging and what's out there is very important. And I think Megan Rapinoe's done an amazing job at getting the message of equality out there.
No doubt about that. Now it's time to find your edge, Jennifer, courtesy of Atlantis Casino, Spa and Resort in Reno. And the Warriors tonight, they're 5-point favorites here at Chase Center with the over-under set at 240.5. It does feel like it's going to be a high-scoring affair between these two teams. And if you're looking for trends, the Wizards have hit the over almost 66% of the time in their 44 games against Western Conference teams. For more information like this, check out the great website, NBC Sports Edge, to try to win some money. Let's hear from the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr, on tonight's matchup against the Wiz.
It doesn't obviously reflect in the standings with the Wizards, but obviously they have some dangerous guys. What is it about them that can get some teams in trouble, I guess, if they overlook a team like this?
Well, they play at the fastest pace in the league, Jason, and obviously an incredibly explosive backcourt with Westbrook and Beal. They also shoot a ton of free throws. I think they're second in the league in free throws attempted. So we know that storyline. So we've got to be really solid in transition. We've got to defend without fouling, and we've got to be aware of their shooters, coming off the bench. So it's going to be a good challenge for us, and I'm excited for the game.
We've seen obviously defenses adjust their game plans for Steph, with all the trapping and the things that they do. With Beal having the kind of season he's having, does he force any sort of specific game plan changes for you guys defensively like that?
Yeah, you have to account for Bradley, at all times, and there's no way you can just play him one way for the entire game, with the same defender. So, we've got to put different bodies on him and show him different looks, try to keep him off balance. I don't remember how many points he had last year, but he came into Chase and lit us up, and they beat us here. That's fresh on my mind. So he's one of the toughest guys in the league to handle, and we've got to try to throw a lot of different looks at him.
Jennifer, we touched on Russell Westbrook as we look at the starting lineups, courtesy of Four Dealers. And with the Golden State Warriors, we know they're starting Steph Curry. We know Wiseman is going to get the start, who, by the way, had a double-double in the first half last time out against Milwaukee, finished with 13 to 10. Oubre Jr. with some big-time threes in the fourth quarter, and Wiggins with a big dunk and a defensive play of the night against Chris Middleton. But how did this starting lineup, and how does this team contain Bradley Beal, who's averaging 31 points per game, shooting 48 from the field and 35 from the three-point line? We talked about Russell Westbrook. Bradley Beal's a bad boy, too.
Oh, he's so good. I mean, he's absolutely one of the best guards and the most talented guards in the league, and he will be tough to stop. But the rest of their team, we also need to make sure that, we're getting out on shooters, and, Westbrook is also a handful. But, yeah, Bradley Beal is a heck of a player.
No doubt about it. And you talk about Bertans and Rui Hachimura, the young man from Gonzaga, averaging 14 points per game. But it all starts with the backcourt. So do you see Oubre Jr. getting an assignment on Bradley Beal, their former teammates? Is it Andrew Wiggins on Westbrook? How do you start off the night, Jennifer, defensively?
I think I would have Oubre on him. I think just, and there's something about having been a teammate. You do know someone. You can look at the scouting report, but playing against someone day in and day out, I think you do know them a little bit better. No doubt. Now, something happened this week with the Golden State Warriors. Actually, yesterday, Rick Welch, the COO of the Golden State Warriors, decided at the end of the season he would retire. The chief operating officer has been with the Warriors for 10 seasons. He's going to be an advisor after the year with this franchise, but Rick Welch, one of the great guys in the NBA. Started off as a ball boy with the Seattle Sonics, won a championship with them as a ball boy and executive with the Sonics back in '79. Of course, came up with All-Star Saturday. Just a great dude, and he's decided to hang it up, Jennifer. I guess the timing is right at some point for everyone, but what a loss for the league. I mean, Rick is the NBA, and as long as I've been around the game, I have never heard anyone say anything but over-the-top positive things about Rick. I mean, the way that he's classy, he's professional, he's competent, he's kind. I mean, he is just a wonderful human being, and so it's a real loss for the Warriors, and I think for the league in general. But I'm excited for Rick. I mean, starting a new chapter. Yeah, the first openly gay executive in the NBA. The courage it took to do that as well. And Rick, he joined our morning show today, 95.7 Again in the Morning, Russell, Kate Scott, and Joe the Butcher Boy Shasky. And Rick said, out of all the accomplishments, the one that stands out
is the Hall of Fame. He's standing out in the Hall of Fame at the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts, with all these legends. He said, when I started this journey, I can't believe it's ended in the Hall of Fame. So that just speaks volumes of who Rick Welch is as a person and how important he was to the NBA.
Oh, definitely. And, to really think about his steps, right? From ball boy, you mentioned, all the way to, where he...
Doing the things that he'll be doing in the game, like playing around the basket, rolling off or pick and rolls, doing those type of things and catching lobs and dunking them, those things require you to have the full complement of your athleticism. So if he has that, mentally, he's going to be ready.
That's what I want to see. I want to see him when he's mentally and physically in tip-top shape. But you talk about, confidence. How about we tell people about someone who's going to be joining the show, who has a little bit of a history and knows about the confidence of one Jason Smith, former coach. Yeah, Bill Peterson, special assistant to the head coach of the national championship winning Baylor Bears. All right, and if you see there on the screen, the associate head coach. Wizards fans, if you do not know what we do in this segment, shame on you. You should know. It's about to get real hot under the collar. So, who's got a bold prediction for tonight? Will it come true? Both of these questions will be answered right now. Mr. Smith, I know I gave you a little bit of chiding about Coach Peterson, but you get to go first in our bold prediction. What do you got?
Bradley Beal, Draymond Green, they got some history. I want to see that film clip where they had a little tussle right into Chris Miller's sideline reporting job, because I am making a bold prediction tonight. Draymond is going to lose his cool. He is going to get a technical foul. This is what this man does. It's easy to get under his skin. They weren't hugging. They were tussling. They were making sure that they were competing out there at a high level. Brad, he was ready to go, but Draymond, oh boy, he is ready. Oh, he's ready for a fight any day of the week. Look at that jersey ripped off on him. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to a technical coming Draymond Green's way tonight. That's my bold prediction.
Everybody can see Draymond seems to get under everybody's skin, and I know Chris Miller, weren't you there that night too? I know Sticks was there that night.
Hey man, they fell in my lap, man. I tried to get out of there. The other thing that was funny was the old dude that flipped off Bradley Beal when he was trying to walk out of the arena. The man had a middle finger in one hand and a beer in the other.
No, never spill the beer. Don't spill the beer. That's always the rule. Tony Massenberg, Sticks says he wants, would like to see some action. What do you have for us tonight?
Well, the most consistent player we've seen down on the box has been one Robin Lopez. Rolo has been doing his thing. When he gets people on his backside, he puts them in the blender. Not quite like Hakeem Olajuwon, but he is very effective, particularly with the particularly with the hook shot. I always say when it comes to bigs, when you get in trouble, if you don't have a fadeaway jump shot, hook them. Hook them to death. So I'm looking for Rolo to have not one, not two, not three, but four. That's right. Spicy. I said it. 4 jump hooks tonight I expect from Rolo. I'm looking at the way he's playing. He's got tremendous confidence in his box game, and that hook has been his most lethal weapon and seemingly unstoppable no matter who's guarding.
Hey, that's a spicy one right there, Chris. He needs some milk. That's what's going to happen after that one. 4 hook shots from Rolo. All right, Chris. 4 of them. 4.
Okay.
4. I see what you did there, golf
aficionado.
This might not
be spicy.
What you got?
Yeah, this one might not be spicy. I'm going to say Bradley Beal gets his scoring average tonight of 31.2. So I'm going to say 30. Let's just say 30. And you might be saying, Chris, he averages 30. Well, the last time Bradley Beal scored over 30 was March 18th versus Utah when he gave them a 43 ball. And since the All-Star break, Brad has only scored 30 or more in a game twice. So tonight, with that chef on the other side of the floor, I'm saying the number 1 and number 2 scorers are going to have themselves a duel out west. Bradley Beal will get over the 30-point mark tonight.
I feel a watch the throne moment. I feel it. I feel it coming on tonight because Chris Miller.
I almost hit the boo button on you, but you gave me some reasoning behind your bold prediction, and I actually respect it. Good job,
Thank
Chris
you.
Miller.
Well, look at that.
By the way, can I dry snitch on you real quick?
Go ahead.
I love how you sold the fact which team needed it more tonight. Because, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, he wasn't feeling it in the production meeting. And you saw how he sold it.
Wow. Really putting my work out there
I'm
on the
snitching.
streets, huh, Chris Miller? I don't appreciate that.
Dry snitching. You did a great job selling that one, Sticks.
Hey, that's what we do. It's spicy time. But guys, here comes my prediction. I know, speaking of that same phone call, that meeting we had yesterday, I officially retired Davis Bertans hitting 5 threes. Not because I don't believe he can do it, but since he hit it twice in a row, it's done. I'm moving on. I've got other things to worry about.
Thank you.
Y'all feel good? Okay. And what I did was, instead of going with my usual prediction, I asked Twitter, what should I do? I sent out a poll, and they all came back with this. The winner was Brad and Russ combining for 60 points together. So that means, yes, Chris, Brad's got to give me 30 of them, and I'm going to need 30 out of Russ tonight. It's necessary. It's a must.
So that's a 30-point triple-double from Russell Westbrook, right?
Talk to me now. Talk to me. We need big things to happen out there.
Mr. Triple-double, baby.
Thank you. And you guys have made the case about the fact that the Warriors are going to come out and light it up from deep. It's going to be really incumbent on Russ to lead the pack and become such a backcourt threat that the Warriors have no option, no way to defend this. And if those two are cooking, you know what that means for everybody else. Davis about to go off-ish. How old do I need to keep going down the list? Rolo's getting some work in tonight. Denny and Rui. Oh, I'll name the home roster. But that's neither here nor there. Right now, we got to make sure people know we want you to come back for Post-Game Live and to see which one of us Rhodes Scholars actually got our prediction correct. Post-Game Live right after the game. Myself, Chris Miller, Tony Massenberg, and Jason Smith on ABC Sports Washington and the My Teams app.
Coming up.
Bertans, there's his 5th three of the game. Wes Hall is cheering again.
Davis Bertans has found his groove from deep after hitting 6 threes against Orlando. Former Wizards big man Jason Smith will show us how he can repeat that performance when we jump in the film room. The Wizards are hunting their 2nd win in a row on the road. But what do odds makers have to say about the scoring potential in tonight's matchup against Golden State?
Field of the district's dynamic scoring duo looking to take the Wizards to the playoffs in 2021.
For 3. Got it again!
And ABC Sports Washington is taking you along for the ride.
What a huge shot!
Catch up on all the action with Pre-Game Live. Experience all the highlights and analysis in Post-Game Live. And watch every game live on NBC Sports Washington and the My Teams app.
Welcome back to Pre-Game Live, presented by Geico. Jumping into the film room with 2 of my pros, Jason Smith, Tony Massenberg. Both of you guys played the game, so I need your perspective, all right? I'm leaning into you hard right now. Jason Smith, let's talk about Davis Bertans. No more predictions from me. Don't need him, because what he did against Orlando, absolutely phenomenal. 6 threes from deep. Tell me what you saw from this man on the court.
Thank the Lord, no more predictions from you. Oh, my gosh. Davis is probably feeling a sigh of relief. That weight is off of his shoulders now. He's going to go out and play great basketball. But I think the biggest reason for him shooting back into his form is really having his partner back out there in Ish Smith. Something about the chemistry that these two have. Ish is always aware of where Davis is on the floor. Right here, you see him in the pick and roll action. He knows he's not going to get the basket, but he knows exactly where Davis is to get him a great look. Plus, right here, a little misdirection, having Robin Lopez do a dribble handoff. Davis is so good at changing directions and being able to have a quick trigger from the three-point line. You love seeing that from him, shooting off-balance shots. But right here, another misdirection. Set a back screen. His defender has to help because that's Bradley Beal he's setting a screen for. Then you have Alex Len setting another screen for Davis. Again, his feet are barely set. He has the balance, shooting mid-air and really knocking it down with consistency. You love to see what he's been shooting lately, and I look for more of that, especially against the Warriors tonight.
Tony Massenberg, another guy who was shooting pretty decent from deep. 4 for 6. Talk about Bradley Beal, 26 points, no free throws. Tell me what you saw in the film room.
Well, when I look at Brad right now, we know that he's not going to be going to the cup the way that we normally see him go. But the one thing that Brad has done all year long is assess defenses. And make no mistake about it, when you play with a walking triple-double like Russell Westbrook, defenses have to pay attention to him. But when you're Bradley Beal, you're number 1 on the scouting report. And it's important that you be able to assess a defense like right here. He sees no double team coming. Individual defender, your goose is cooked. He takes the long 3. Then you look at this one. He plays off of the defense here. Looking, gets the quick screen from Rolo, gets right in the teeth of the defense, doesn't feel the pressure and understands that he can just step through
and put a nice soft shot off the glass. And this last one right here, this is really using the defense. He gets the give and go. Then he uses Davis Bertans' first screen. He understands, gets there, not open. Then he sees it again. Look at the energy that you have to exert to get open. And the last screen set is the one that frees him for another long jump shot. It's not just important to be able to score at all three levels the way that Brad does, but you have to read defenses and see what they're giving you. And Brad is doing an excellent job of that right now. As I said, I don't expect him to go to the basket the way we've normally seen him because he's a little worried about that hip. But when you can shoot the three ball the way that he can, it gives you a lot of options.
Amen to that, guys. Now it's time to move on to storylines. Odds makers have the total points tonight set at 240.5. Jason Smith, you know we put up 131 against Orlando. So my question to you, sir, is the Chris Miller rule in effect tonight going on first to 120?
It might be Chris Miller rule plus 10. I think it might be a 130 night again, just because Golden State doesn't exactly play the best defense. Plus, it's going to be a three-point shootout, I think. Then you have the 1 and 2 leading scorers in the NBA in Bradley Beal and Steph Curry out there. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity to see some up and down basketball tonight.
I think with a guy like Brett, I think with Davis shooting the ball as well as he is, I think with Garrison Matthews being on a bit of a hot streak, this will allow Brad a little bit more freedom because now the defense can't solely focus on him, which I think will make it a little easier for him to get some shots. So I'm looking for this game to definitely be a high-scoring affair.
Absolutely, and I know a couple of people on this game are looking to add some points because they're the league 1 and 2 scorers right now. Bradley Beal, Steph Curry, and that's not it. I want everybody to see who else is on this list when you think about the scoring talent that is in today's NBA and who's hunting Brad's #1 spot. Like I said earlier, Brad's got 31, Steph sitting right there at 30, Dame at 29, Giannis and Luka both with 29. Of course, I'm doing the averages, folks, averages. Roll ahead and move on to the crossover because I need to bring in Justin and Drew to this question right here. These guys are hanging out with us tonight, getting us ready for Wizards Warriors at the new Chase Center. Drew Gooden. When it comes to all the stars on the court tonight, Brad, Russ, Draymond, Steph, which one of these stars has to shine the brightest for their team to win?
That's a tough question. I'm going to say Bradley Beal, and not that because I'm rooting for the Wizards to win this game, but I think he's due. I think if he's a go, he's going to play, and he's going to be ready to play at a high level. Russell Westbrook and Steph Curry, I'm going to love that matchup. I'm going to get into that in our open. I mean, that's must-see TV right there, so get your popcorn. And then Draymond as a playmaker, I mean, he's leading his team in assists, so you're going to have to watch out for him. And he's taking a lot of heat in those streets as of late, so he'll be definitely ready to play.
Obviously, I want the Wizards to win, but I think if there's one guy who has to play well for his team to win tonight, it is Steph Curry. Seeing what Steph has done the last 4 games, averaging about 36.5 points per game, he's the one who gets things going for this team. If Brad has an off game, he's got Russell Westbrook to pick up the scoring punch. So I think Steph Curry needs to be the guy for Golden State. How about you, Tony? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that for the simple fact that Steph Curry doesn't have another legitimate all-star playing along beside him. And despite Russell Westbrook not making the all-star team, he's doing all-star things and has been, particularly after the all-star game. So when you look at what Brad has, along with Garrison Matthews, along with Davis Bertans being back, along with a guy like Ish Smith who knows how to find everybody, I think the pressure is really on Steph because if he doesn't play well, they're not going anywhere. I mean, it starts and stops with him. So I would agree with you on that one, Justin.
Exactly, Tony, and I think it's exactly what you just said. If Steph Curry doesn't play well, who else are you going to depend on to score 30-plus a night? You're not having Draymond do that. He's out there to distribute the basketball, so you're dependent on Andrew Wiggins and who? Kelly Oubre? No, that is not happening. It is it's very, very important for Steph to go out there and score the basketball tonight for the Warriors.
Guys, I'm just, you know what's so funny, Sticks, when you mentioned Kelly Oubre, I'm like, who, between the dynamic of Kelly and Draymond, which one of these guys do you kind of want to chide a little bit? I know you played with him, Sticks, before, but which one do you want to get under his skin more?
You know, I would actually want to get under